Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Ball Talk. Today I'll be talking about Man City and Liverpool, kind of in the same manner I talked about Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man United. Before I start, I just want to thank you for all the love and support on my last video, all the likes, all the comments, all the new subscribers. I saw it all. I'm so grateful, and I appreciate it for real. And I hope you guys like my channel. So, talking about Man City. Last season, Man City had a lot of defensive problems, stemming from the fact that they didn't really replace Vincent Kompany adequately after he retired at the end of the 2018-2019 season. Vincent Kompany was such a big character in the defense, a leader, he was a calming, there's some defenders that you can put them in a chaotic defense and it just calms everything down. And Kompany was one of those defenders. And the fact that they didn't adequately replace him, it just started this season off on the wrong foot. And Laporte as well. Laporte being injured, Aymeric Laporte. He was probably their best remaining defender. And the fact that he had a lot of injury problems last season kind of slowed their season down in places where they should have been really pushing on. Especially around the beginning of the season. Silly results like losing 3-2 to Norwich. Like, come on, Norwich got relegated. And they beat Norwich. They beat Norwich like 5-0 at the end of the season. So the fact that they dropped points to Norwich is, it's unacceptable for a team chasing the title, and that all stems from, their defense. And that defense breeds inconsistency because, as Sir Alex Ferguson said, yes, their attack, which was potent last season, still scored nearly 100 goals in the league last season. Yes, your attack wins you games, but your defense is what wins you titles. And last season was a great illustration of that. Yes, their attack was amazing, but their defense let them down. For real. So, now, coming to their new signings. Speaking of their defense, Man City have gone out into the transfer window to try and rectify those issues. And they've bought Nathan Ake from Bournemouth for around £40 million. And I think that will be a very good buy for Man City. He's 25 now, a product of Chelsea's famed youth academy. And, I feel can he be that Kompany replacement? I don't think so, but he can be a very, very solid part, like a solid defender on his own that doesn't really need, to be led. He can lead with his own defensive actions. And I think that was a really good buy for Man City. I think, it's inflated. Can we continue to call, for us fans that have been watching for years now, we see the prices go up and we just know that it's an inflated market. So in today's inflated market, is it really overpriced? No, I wouldn't call it overpriced. So I think that's a very good bit of business for Man City. Now, moving on from their defense, the other new signing that they brought in is Ferran Torres. And Ferran Torres from Valencia, he only scored 4 goals and put on 5 assists last season in La Liga. But, that's not all to his game. If you watch him, I've watched a little bit of him. He's one of those players that wins fouls very easily. And that's very valuable in the Premier League. Your Grealishes, your Zahas, players that win fouls. And that obviously means that he's a good dribbler. He's comfortable on the ball. He's a good passer. And I can see some potential to be a goal scorer if, he can be coached correctly into making the correct runs into the box and stuff like that. So, I think that's a very good little buy for Man City, and not too expensive as well. Only 23 million euros, which means that's about maybe 20 million pounds. So I think that was a very good buy for Man City, and I think we will bolster their attacking options. I mean, the attacking options that already have Sterling, Mahrez, Aguero, Gabriel Jesus, Kevin De Bruyne. So, Man City is just a case of the rich getting richer, for real. So, now, next season, I expect Man City to challenge next season 100%. Like, they'll be angry, especially with the fact that they didn't do too well in the Premier League, and then they got knocked out surprisingly by Lyon in the Champions League. So I'll be expecting Man City to challenge in the Premier League at least. Now, in the Champions League, it's like a mental thing with Man City. When you expect them to do really well, especially last season when they won the league, they got to Spurs. Everyone thought, oh yeah, that'll be light work, but then Spurs beat them. So it's like a mental block, I think, for Man City in the Champions League. But I expect them to do better in the Champions League next year and to do a lot better in the Premier League next year. 18 points, 99 to 81 between Liverpool. That's too big for a club of Man City's stature and with the finances that they have. And, the one thing that I feel will help them, especially, is that they have such a fluid system, a fluid system that players can adjust easily to. A fluid passing, it's just so, I think the best word to describe it is it's smooth. It's smooth, and it's like a factory. You can put different components into it. So, I think that's what will help Man City next season when they're trying to challenge for the title and do better than they did last season. So, moving on to Liverpool. Last season, Liverpool had an amazing season. Absolutely amazing. And, there's nothing else the rest of us fans can say. We have to put our hands up and say they were by far the best team in England. But by the end of the season, I felt that teams started to figure Liverpool out. They got exposed by Atletico in the last 16 of the Champions League. And what I feel that Atletico exposed is that Liverpool have a creativity problem. Because the thing is, Liverpool's system is based on the fullbacks. It's based on the fullbacks, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson. They fly up the wings, spamming crosses, cross after cross after cross. And if you're a compact team like Atletico, you get all your big centre backs in the box, and Firmino, Mane, and Salah not particularly big. You keep heading those crosses away, then all of a sudden Liverpool have to rely on people like Henderson, Wijnaldum, Fabinho, who aren't too creative. So I think that's a weakness in Liverpool's side that they should try and address. More creativity in the team besides the fullbacks. Now, one thing that I kind of saw last season was that there could be an unhealthy rivalry kind of building between Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane. Now, there's not too much clear evidence to suggest so, but, weird things can happen between players and in a dressing room. Say the season doesn't start too well, and then Salah's being a bit greedy, not passing the ball to Mane. Things can happen. So there's a potential for a clash there. Potential. It may not be happening right now, but there's potential for a little bit of exactly. Like I said before, an unhealthy rivalry between Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah. Now, Liverpool for me, their biggest strength as well as their biggest weakness is the fact that their team, it's a well-oiled machine. It's such a tailor-made team. Perfect. Every single player is a moving part of the team. And without that particular player, we're talking about the starting 11 here. Without that particular player, the whole system doesn't perform optimally, And yes, like I said, big strength, these players are world-class players. But then, say a player gets injured, that could derail their season. For like a Mane, especially like a Mane, or Van Dijk, or Henderson, or Trent Alexander-Arnold, one of those players. Say one of them gets injured. How are they going to replace them? Because even in matches, say like they take Salah off or they take Mane off and they bring on like Origi or Shaqiri, the team looks so different without those starting 11 players. So, that could hurt them, especially, tying in with the fact that these players have been playing over and over and over again for the past 4 or 5 years. So, there could be mileage and fatigue in those legs, causing, injuries that might not normally happen. So, there's a bit of unpredictability surrounding Liverpool next season. Now, new signings, Kostas Tsimikas from Olympiacos. Well, I've watched a little bit of him coming from the Greek league. Seems like he could be an adequate little backup for Andy Robertson, but obviously not the same quality, which all ties back into the fact that Liverpool, one thing could lead to, an unfortunate sequence of events that could stop Liverpool from achieving what they can achieve next season, what they're capable of achieving. Now, we move on to what I think Liverpool can do next season. They should be challenging for the league again and challenging for the Champions League. But, I feel like there's a potential for them to possibly slip out of that top three. So, not the top three, top two. You know, there's potential for that to happen. You know, there's a bit of unpredictability, like I said before, with Liverpool's season this season, and you know, if everything goes right, they could run away with the league again. If everything goes wrong, you know, they could possibly fall out of the top two. So that's what I expect from Man City and Liverpool this season. The Premier League starting next week, so you know, we'll see the different things I can do on my YouTube channel to, you know, to talk about the Premier League and talk about the clubs and what's happening, you know. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.